Good morning and welcome to this vlog. It's just about 8 AM. It is our first full day here on Skye. Yesterday we just drove up from Edinburgh, which took a lot longer than it should have, but that is because we stopped like multiple times along the way. So I'll include some footage and some pictures from that. It was actually really fun. We went kind of like a scenic route, so we went past Loch Lomond, Glencoe, Glenfinnan Viaduct, which is it's famous for being like where the Hogwarts Express, it's like a bridgey thing, what's a viaduct that the train goes across, which I actually have been on the train on top of it a couple of years ago, so you can check out my vlog from Mull and Fort William, which I will link down below as well if you want to check that out. But we stopped by there and then we got to Skye about 7 hours later. We did actually get caught in the rain twice and get absolutely soaked. So like this hoodie is still damp from the rain yesterday. That's kind of funny. I think it is going to rain basically all of today and hopefully tomorrow is going to be a bit drier, but we shall see. This is the view from the hostel and that's the car that we drove up in. I can't drive, so my friend had to drive the whole way, which was very brave of her, but it was a lot of fun. So I think the plan for today is we're going to drive to the very north of the island and do this walk called the Fairy Glen, and then also stop off at a couple of towns including Portree, which is the biggest town on Skye. And yeah, I think that's like the basic plan for today, and then we're also here tomorrow and then we're going to drive back on Tuesday morning. So I hope you enjoy. So we've arrived at Fairy Glen, which is a really beautiful walk. It's so green and there's some really beautiful rock formations, which I will show you now. So I've actually come back to the car because it was really windy and I'm wearing kind of bad shoes for walking, and I got a bit like it's very slippery and muddy, so I decided to come back and I'm just going to chill for a bit and read, maybe do some editing whilst the other two go for a bit more of a walk, and then I think we're going to get some lunch. So I just went for a little swim in there, which was actually really lovely. It's probably the highlight of the trip so far, which is so fun. Now we head to the car and come up. Good morning, it's just like 8:20 and we are getting ready to go out for the day. It's dry today, which is really nice. So I think we're going to go to the fairy pools and Portree. That's like the main plan for today. Portree, which is at the harbour. I think we're going to get an ice cream and then maybe walk around a bit and go somewhere else because there's not that much to do. So we've come to this point called Pierce Point, I think. I'll write it down below, but it's really beautiful and yeah, I'm just going down now. So we just had a really lovely dinner in Dunvegan, and now we're heading back to the car, and then we're actually going home tomorrow. So yeah, I'll probably catch up with you a bit, but yeah. Hello, it is actually a couple of days later from where I last left off in Skye, but I am back in Edinburgh, and I thought I would just have a quick catch up about the trip because I feel like I didn't actually speak much whilst I was there. So yeah, we went for 3 nights and we drove up. You kind of need a car, like that's the first thing I'd say, is you definitely need a car. I think you can do it, like you can get from Edinburgh to Skye without a car, kind of, like you can get the train to Fort William or Mallaig and then maybe get a bus to Skye, but getting around Skye itself, you just definitely need a car. If you don't have a car, I think the public transport links are really bad and not very reliable. We did see a few people hitchhiking, but yeah, it's just so much easier if you have an actual car. But yeah, we drove up, we stayed in this hostel called Skye Base Camp. When we looked, absolutely everything was booked apart from this one hostel. So we had very little choice unless we wanted to camp, but we kind of decided we didn't want to do that, and the weather didn't look that great, so we opted for the hostel. It was quite expensive for a hostel. I think it was roughly like £40 each a night, and it was a very basic hostel. Like it was nice, but it was very basic, so it's not like the cheapest of places to stay. The weather wasn't great. It kind of felt like it was sort of winter. It was kind of cold and wet, but obviously it wasn't too bad. Like that's me being dramatic, but yeah, it wasn't like the warmest of places. But you know, I feel like it looked really pretty in the rain. Scotland often does look prettier in the rain, and Skye looked so stunning. And we still managed to go in the water twice, even though it wasn't the warmest, and that was actually like so much fun. But yeah, if you do that, do obviously like take care because the water is really cold, so you don't want to overdo it, but we were fine. I'd say if you're planning a trip to Skye, definitely bring layers and waterproofs because it will be sunny 1 second and then a minute later you will be absolutely drenched. There were quite a lot of like showers, so the rain didn't last for long, but when it rained. As you have seen at the beginning of this vlog, we got caught out a couple of times and got absolutely soaked. So yeah, bring waterproofs and layers. And the other final thing that I would think is worth mentioning is that like finding places to eat was actually really hard. And it's not that there's like a lack of places to eat. Obviously there aren't that many compared to big cities, and they are spread out, but the issue was, especially for dinner, all the places basically you had to already have booked, and everything closes by 9 if not 8. So we had this issue where we were kind of looking to eat around, you know, from 7 onwards as like we normally would in Edinburgh, but by that point restaurants were already sort of wrapping up or were fully booked or wouldn't take walk-ins, so it was actually quite hard to find places to eat. So I would just say, if you are going to Skye, I would like plan your dinners beforehand in terms of like if you want to go to certain restaurants, you should pre-book for quite early. But yeah, those are my main kind of tips for if you're going to Skye. It was such a lovely trip. The scenery is absolutely stunning, and I'd say it's definitely worth the 7-hour drive. The scenery in Skye actually reminded me a lot of the Isle of Mull, just sort of like a bigger, more dramatic version. I really love the Isle of Mull as well. As I said at the start of this vlog, I'll link down below the vlog I made from a couple of years ago where I went to the Isle of Mull and Fort William, so you can see more of the kind of Scottish Highlands and Islands on that vlog as well. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this vlog, even though it was kind of short and sweet, and I will see you next time.